I want to quickly talk to you about OnDeck Capital. And OnDeck Capital has been around for a couple of years now. And it's important to really know that if you are trying to get a business funding through OnDeck, you gotta have a certain knowledge. Okay, let's first go back to OnDeck Capital 101. So, what is OnDeck Capital this year? What do they do? So, if you think about OnDeck, I want you to think about an online business letter with two main products. They don't have a lot of products, they only have two, but hey, listen, those two can really serve you big time. So, they have business term loans and they also have business lines of credit. Okay. So, block and business term loans. The company actually launched about 20 years ago, and they have extended over 13 to 15 billion dollars in loans to small businesses. So that's kind of cool. And if you're thinking about OnDeck, I want you to think about a lender that specializes in quick funding for short-term financing. So I want you to really focus on those two key concepts: quick funding and short-term financing. So OnDeck is also known for approving businesses that can't qualify for a traditional business loan, whether it is at a bank or at a credit union. So how does OnDeck really work? Well, OnDeck uses a mix of automation and manual oversight to determine borrowing amounts and interest rates. And you will enter information about your business before speaking to a representative who will ensure there are no surprises during repayment, right? It's all about making sure they're covering their back too. And if you really think about it, the entire application and funding process usually takes 48 hours maximum. And once approved, weekly or daily payments will be automatically deducted from your account. I mean, if you don't like daily payments, don't go with OnDeck because that's what they do. They do short-term financing, and they want you to really pay them back as soon as possible. So with OnDeck, you have business term loans. So the business term loans, you can really borrow somewhere from 5,000 all the way to $250,000, and you have terms, repayment terms that go all the way to 24 months. And you also have business lines of credit. Here you can tap into a line of credit that actually goes from 6,000 all the way to $100,000, and interest rates actually are around 30% all the way to 65%. And you are looking at a repayment window of 12 months. Okay, so 12 months where you can really draw funds, and the line actually resets every 12 months. So something to really think about. For the loan itself, you have 24 months maximum. For the line of credit, you have 12 months maximum. So if you are interested in applying for OnDeck this year, what should you be? Let's say you should know. By the way, when you think about a line of credit at OnDeck, you also can go to 12, 18, or 24 months. But anything above 12 months will be much harder for you to really qualify for. But I just want to say it is actually possible to apply for that repayment window. So to apply for both products that OnDeck has this year, you need to supply a few documents and information. So you got to have 3 months of business bank documents. So business bank statements. So you got to have a business account, and you got to have the bank statements from that business account. So at least 3 months. Okay. You got to have a voided business check, a copy of your driver's license, your business tax ID number. So that is your company's EIN, your social security number as the business owner. You got to have an estimated annual gross revenue. So OnDeck is kind of fine if you don't have actual numbers. They want to have pretty decent projected numbers, and also the average bank account balance. Okay, so that's something to really think about. Now there are other factors to really pay attention to if you want to apply for an OnDeck business term loan or business line of credit. So they might ask you to have a minimum credit score of 600. So it goes from 600 to 620, 625. That's the minimum. You got to have at least 1 year in business, and also a minimum annual revenue of $100,000. So if you are a brand new startup, you might not really find OnDeck really interesting for you. And you must also make at least 5 monthly deposits in your business bank account. So if you've ever filed for personal bankruptcy, OnDeck will only work with you if the bankruptcy was discharged at least 2 years ago. And OnDeck doesn't work with businesses with 20,000 plus in total liens and judgments against their business, or more than 5.5% of their annual revenue. So this is something to really think about. But just remember that OnDeck can work with you, but the interest they're charging is like crazy high. But hey, listen, it is what it is. So how do you apply with OnDeck this year? How do you make sure that you get in the whole process? So the application for OnDeck's business term loan and business line of credit can actually you can complete the application in 5 to 10 minutes, and afterwards funds should appear in your bank account as soon as the next business day. So this is really cool. This is really fast too. So first you want to fill out the application. So if you go to OnDeck's website, there is a short form where you can just put your info. Okay, it's a one page application. So they ask about basic information about you and your business. So you submit stuff like your credit score, your annual revenue, and at least 3 months of bank statements. And so once you provide the required documents and information, OnDeck will perform actually a soft credit pull. So soft credit pull means what? They will pre-qualify you. And the cool thing is this process will not affect your credit score. It is a soft pull, not a hard pull. So first thing you want to do is fill out the application. Next, you want to speak to a representative. So unlike other online business lenders, OnDeck's underwriting process is only partially automated. Thus, when you submit the previous information, you have to speak to a representative before moving forward. So, and after applying, you should hear from an OnDeck representative within a day or two, especially when it comes to getting the ball rolling. Okay, and you have to constantly make sure that whatever info they ask you, while you're having conversation with an OnDeck representative, please make sure that whatever they ask you, you provide it as soon as possible, because they are so busy and there are so many small business owners applying to OnDeck these days. If they assign a representative to you who's going to work on your business loan or business line of credit, whatever they ask you, submit it, okay? And submit it through the same conduit that then they actually ask you. So if they ask you for tax documents, for instance, let's say your tax return for the last 2 years, and they want you to upload it to a specific website, to a specific, specific website, just follow instructions. Make sure you upload the document as soon as possible. And so what you want to do here is that you, after you submit the documentation, this might take 24 hours, sometimes earlier, but 24 hours, they'll really dig into your documents. And if they actually approve you, please make sure that you review your offer. Don't be so excited. Don't be don't. Just take your time and really review the whole thing, okay? After speaking to a rep, you should receive an offer within 1 business day. And the proposal will come in the form of a smart box, okay, disclosure form. And so this comparison tool explains everything you need to know about your loan, like the total cost, the individual payment amounts, the fees, everything you need to be aware of, okay? And that's going to help you really have a big, have a real idea about what you're really getting yourself into. So your offer will likely amount to approximately 10% of your annual revenue. And if you accept the offer, funds will appear in your bank account as soon as the next business day. So that's important from a flexibility point of view. So now, what about post funding? The thing is that for business term loans that you get through OnDeck, your first payment is due the next business day after you receive funding. As I told you, OnDeck is not waiting for you to send them money every month. They want their cash every day or every week as soon as possible, because this is short-term funding. So basically, payments will automatically be deducted from your business bank account daily or weekly for business term loans, by the way. What about business line of credit through OnDeck? Well, your first payment is due the next day after you draw from your credit line for a business line of credit. And from then on, fixed weekly payments will automatically be deducted from your business bank account. So you can actually renew both products after you've paid back 50% of your outstanding balance. If you renew your business term loan or line of credit, OnDeck will waive all interest on the existing loan, and your next origination fee will likely be lower for business term loans. And if you renew a third business term loan, you will likely have no origination fee. So that's pretty good. So let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of OnDeck this year. How do you really play? How do you really navigate the whole OnDeck Capital sort of process? Okay. Now, OnDeck holds several advantages over the majority of the online business lending industry, such as Bluevine, such as SmartBiz, such as NBC, National Business Capital. First off, OnDeck has been funding small businesses since 2006, so that's really good because this makes it one of the oldest and most experienced online business lenders. Okay, and OnDeck's growth and experience show that they have the resources to provide excellent service and have earned a trustworthy reputation within the small business world. So speaking of customer service, OnDeck sets the bar pretty high regarding transparency, so that's really cool. And so thanks to the smart box model, new borrowers have every piece of information they need before accepting an offer. And it's not just as if you're relying on a mysterious computer program to determine your rates, terms, and borrowing amount. Everything is transparent. And also, your OnDeck representative, will carefully explain how your loan is developed and walk you through the repayment process. So, unfortunately, many other online business lenders will not disclose this information unless you ask. Another significant advantage is that you have cheaper origination fees for returning clients. So you have, as a client, you do have less incentive to look for another lending partner down the line. So that's really the good things about OnDeck. What about the bad things? What about the disadvantages? Well, compared to most other online business lenders, OnDeck's requirements are pretty stringent. Many OnDeck competitors work with businesses that don't earn $250,000 a year and are less than 1 year old. And as an online business lender, OnDeck's high interest rates shouldn't come as a surprise, but not every online business lender allows only weekly or daily payments for business term loans, and these payment frequencies could put significant pressure on your cash flow. So something to really think about. Okay. I want to quickly talk to you about the pros and cons of OnDeck. So if you think about OnDeck Capital Review, it's important to understand that on the plus side, you have fast funding with same day of funding. Okay, same day funding is possible in certain situations, especially if you already have some experience with OnDeck, or they have experience with you as a borrower, or experience with you, let's say, with your niche in general. You have lower qualification requirements than traditional business lenders. Okay, so that's important. And OnDeck is one of the most well-established and respected online lenders that are around right now. Like I said, they've been around since 2006, so that's nearly 20 years now. You have excellent customer reviews and praise, streamlined and simple application process, and as a company, you can use OnDeck loans to build business credit, because OnDeck will report your data to the credit bureaus to the business credit bureaus every single month. So what are the cons here? On the flip side, with OnDeck, you have interest rates that are higher than traditional business loans. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Sometimes you can even have 3 digits. Okay, that's kind of high. You know, the frequent payments, weekly or daily, can put a strain on your cash flow. And OnDeck products are unavailable in North Dakota, South Dakota, or Nevada. So that could be a little problematic if your business is in one of those 3 states. Then you can't really access OnDeck. And also, if you are a business owner, in some cases, you must sign a personal guarantee. So you got to have a PG. So if you have a PG, that could be a little dangerous for you, just in case you don't pay back OnDeck. You could be actually you can really have a lawsuit, like on your personal, you can really get a freeze on your personal assets. So it is what it is. So when you think about OnDeck Capital, you have to understand that you have to you have the limit, okay? $250,000 for term loans, and you have $100,000 for the line of credit. If you want more money, then you have to really look for another player, such as Cabbage, such as Smart Biz, such as Cabbage, by the way, was bought over by American Express during COVID. Okay, so 4 or 5 years ago. So now they're more funded. So they can really do a lot more funding. That's kind of cool. And so yeah, I want you to really remember that limit, the limit between OnDeck and others when it comes to the numerical amount for the loan. And the interest rates for OnDeck are pretty high. Okay, you can go all the way to 99% or even more. OnDeck will report your data to the business credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and PayNet. So while your payments won't impact your personal credit score, they will impact your business credit score. So this is something to really, if you want to build credit, OnDeck is a great player to actually consider this year. And one thing I want you to remember here is that if, even if OnDeck declines your loan request, you are going to be able to find other players. Okay. Now they usually decline loan requests because they think the borrower cannot handle the combination of interest and weekly or daily payments. Because see, the whole thing is they want you to really pay them as frequently as possible. So if cash flow turns out to be the culprit, you may still have several options for business term loans or lines of credit. You can try, for instance, Blue Vine. Okay, and Blue Vine is more flexible with repayment structures and has more than two products to suit different cash flow cycles. And you can go to a regular bank, or you can go to a regular line of, you can go to a regular credit union for funding. Okay, so that's important. Or you can also try other business loan programs such as bad credit business loans, accounts receivable loans, equipment financing, and merchant cash advances. So that's something to really think about. Okay, but overall, OnDeck is actually the go-to online business lender for more established businesses. If you remember earlier, I was telling you got to be in business for at least 1 year to actually qualify for a loan. Okay, so OnDeck caters primarily to companies that want to speed that actually they want the speed of non-traditional lending with the borrowing amount and customer service of traditional lending. So if you don't belong to this group, you might actually seek other small business loan options with similar products. So that's something to really think about. So in closing to this conversation, I spoke to you about OnDeck Capital Review. I told you what OnDeck really is, what you need to apply for OnDeck, how to apply, what are the pros and cons, the advantages and disadvantages. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.